Once upon a time in the bustling city of Accra, there lived a beautiful young woman named Esther. She was kind-hearted, intelligent, and full of life. But at this particular moment, she found herself tangled in a web of confusion. Esther had recently met a man named Emmanuel on a social media platform. Their conversations were deep, their connection undeniable, and after weeks of chatting, they decided to meet in person. When Esther first laid eyes on Emmanuel, she was struck by how much more handsome he was in real life than in his pictures. They spent hours talking, laughing, and sharing stories. But what stood out most to Esther was the way Emmanuel looked at her. His gaze was intense, almost as if he could see into her soul. Esther felt something stir within her, something she hadn't felt in a long time. She had been single for a year, and though she had dated here and there, no one had made her feel the way Emmanuel did. But there was a problem. After their meeting, Emmanuel revealed that he was already in a relationship. He confessed that he liked Esther a lot and begged her not to stop talking to him. Esther was torn. She had already started falling for him, but the thought of being the other woman filled her with guilt. She couldn't understand how a man could leave a girlfriend of 3 years, someone who hadn't wronged him, for another woman. Yet Emmanuel's attention was intoxicating. He visited her often, showered her with compliments, and made her feel special. He never made any sexual advances, which made Esther believe his feelings were genuine. Confused and conflicted, Esther turned to her closest friends, Amma, Lovia, and Queenster, for advice. Over cups of cocoa tea at their favorite cafe, Esther poured out her heart. "I don't know what to do," she confessed. "I love him, but he's already taken. What if I'm just a distraction? What if I end up hurting someone else?" Amma, ever the voice of reason, was quick to respond. "Esther, you can't build your happiness on someone else's pain. If he's willing to leave his girlfriend for you, what's to stop him from doing the same to you in the future?" Lovia agreed. "You deserve someone who's fully available, not someone who's already committed." But Queenster, always the pragmatist, had a different perspective. "Girl, you need to be happy, but you also need to be smart. If you're going to date Emmanuel, make sure you have something to fall back on. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Date someone else too, just in case." Esther was torn. She valued her friend's opinions, but her heart was pulling her in a different direction. In the end, she decided to take Queenster's advice. She continued seeing Emmanuel, but also started dating a new man named Francis. Francis was charming, handsome, and seemed to be everything Esther needed. But little did she know, Francis had a dark secret. As the weeks went by, Esther's life became a whirlwind of emotions. She was falling deeper for Emmanuel, but Francis was also winning her over. Meanwhile, Francis had been secretly seeing Esther's friends, Amma, Lovia, and even Queenster. To make matters worse, Francis was also dating Emmanuel's longtime girlfriend. The web of deceit was intricate, and Esther was completely unaware. One evening, Esther overheard a conversation between Francis and Emmanuel's girlfriend. Her heart sank as she realized the truth. Francis had been playing everyone, including her. Furious and heartbroken, Esther confronted him. "How could you do this to me? To my friends? To Emmanuel's girlfriend?" she demanded. Francis simply smirked. "It's just how I am, Esther. I can't help it." Esther ended things with Francis immediately. She tried to reach out to Emmanuel, but he ghosted her, leaving her feeling more alone than ever. Determined to move on, Esther threw herself into her work and tried to forget about the mess her love life had become. One sunny afternoon, Esther visited a restaurant and met a new man named Kwame. He was kind, attentive, and everything Emmanuel wasn't. They hit it off immediately, and Esther began to feel hopeful again. Kwame was fully available, and for the first time in a long time, Esther felt like she was in a healthy relationship. One day, Esther and Kwame stopped by a fuel station supermarket to pick up a few things. As they browsed the aisles, Esther froze. There, standing a few feet away, was Emmanuel. Her heart raced as their eyes met. She quickly composed herself and introduced him to Kwame. "Kwame, this is Emmanuel. We were university mates," she said, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside her. Emmanuel exchanged a few pleasantries and even swapped contact information with Esther. But what Esther didn't realize was that Emmanuel had ulterior motives. He had never stopped thinking about her and was determined to win her back. Over the next few weeks, Emmanuel began texting Esther, reminiscing about their past and how much he missed her. Esther, still harboring feelings for him, found herself drawn back into his orbit. One thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. The guilt consumed Esther, and she confessed everything to Kwame. "I'm so sorry, Kwame. I made a terrible mistake," she cried. Kwame, though heartbroken, forgave her. He loved Esther deeply and even went to her family to ask for her hand in marriage. Esther was touched by his kindness and agreed to marry him. The wedding was a beautiful affair, filled with laughter, music, and joy. Esther and Kwame exchanged vows, promising to love and cherish each other for the rest of their lives. But as the reception wound down, Esther caught a glimpse of Emmanuel in the crowd. He smirked at her, and a chill ran down her spine. Months later, Esther was happily married to Kwame, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. She still thought about Emmanuel, even though she knew he was bad for her. One day, she received a text from an unknown number. "I miss you, Esther. Let's meet." Her heart raced as she realized it was Emmanuel. She was torn between her love for Kwame and her lingering feelings for Emmanuel. To be continued.